D2 Word Life here with Riptides.
Pick for fucking King of the Ring. Shit.
Oh yeah, and it's been widely speculated and widely criticized that the 1995 King of the Ring was shit.
It was worse than shit.
And well, today we are
Michael Cole match was more entertaining.
A Michael Cole match is more entertaining than any match on this show. But we'll just see how bad it really is, because we're going to take a deep dive into this dang show and review King of the Ring 1995, much to our displeasure. And this event took place on... Actually, no, I can't even call it an event. This friggin' abomination took place on June 25th, 1995 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. God, they had better events than this in that city.
Yes.
At the Core State Spectrum with an attendance of freaking 16,590 unfortunate fans. And I usually don't even talk about this, but we can talk about the buy rate for this show. 150,000 people bought this show on pay-per-view. I bet all of them felt ripped off.
Yes.
Considering, what? I think it was back in 95. I think these pay-per-views went between 40 to 50 bucks a piece. And that was a lot of money back then. Yeah, that was a lot of money back then, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the commentators for this event were Vince McMahon and Doc Hendricks. Doc Hendricks, better known as Michael Hayes.
Yes.
And the ring announcers for this event were Howard Finkel and Bill Dunn. I don't even remember who the heck that second announcer was. Right?
Neither do I.
Yeah, and then the show began with a skyline shot of friggin' goddamn Philadelphia with Vince McMahon asking who will become the King of the Ring. After he mentioned that Philadelphia was where the Declaration of Independence signed, I'm like, that doesn't even go hand in hand, but okay. Right?
Yeah.
But then we went to a Coliseum Video exclusive match, which is basically their fancy way of saying it was a dark match before the show started. And for those wondering who weren't around back then or weren't old enough to know what Coliseum Video was, it was basically VHS. Right?
Yeah.
And this match was a King of the Ring qualifier featuring Savio Vega. Get used to hearing that name a lot, taking on Erwin R. Schleicher, or IRS.
The IRS, man.
The father of Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt.
The late, great Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? IRS played the friggin' tax man as his friggin' character, and he was supposed to be a bad guy, but yet people were booing, and we're supposed to boo the tax man. But if you don't freaking pay your taxes, you go to jail, so there you go.
Like I said, there's nothing like death and taxes. They get you coming and they get you going.
I swear to God, man, if IRS was a face character or if The Undertaker was a heel character, they should have paired them together. Call them death and taxes. The two guaranteed things in life. Am I right?
Yes.
Well, that was a missed opportunity back then. But we're not talking about that fantasy booking. This match was... Yeah, shit. How many roll-ups did you count? How many roll-up attempts did you count in this match? You're like, too many? Right?
Way too many.
Yeah, and then the short match, because it wasn't really long to begin with, the short match ended up with Savio Vega picking up the win with the spinning heel kick.
Yes.
To qualify for the 1995 King of the Ring tournament. Whoop-de-doo. Oh yeah, and the story was Savio Vega was replacing an injured Razor Ramon in this tournament here.
Yeah.
despite Razor being freaking at ringside during Savio Vega's matches. And I just love how the kayfabe excuse was, oh, he's cleared to wrestle in singles competition, but tournament competition, Razor can't do it. I'm like, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That made absolutely no sense. But then after that special dark match, Vince McMahon actually officially welcomed us to the show, saying, "Welcome to the King of the Ring." I'm like, dude, you said that about friggin' 10 minutes ago, or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, after that little introduction, we go on to the first official match of this pay-per-view, which was the King of the Ring qualifier match between tag team champion Yokozuna, who was a tag champion with Owen Hart at this time, taking on, what do you know, Savio Vega, who we just seen compete like literally minutes beforehand.
Yes.
And this wasn't agile freaking, this wasn't like the agile, like fast Yokozuna here. This was freaking the slow, freaking huge Yokozuna. He was pretty much near the end of his run at this point. I think he had a little over a year left before he left the WWE completely.
I think so.
And yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go spot for spot. I'm just saying, okay, since Yokozuna was limited here in his mobility, there was a lot of freaking nerve holds and a lot of freaking rest holds performed on Savio Vega here, probably to try to get Yokozuna to actually get to the finish.
Yeah.
And it was just boring as hell. Of course, when Savio Vega tried to come back with some punches and chops near the end of the match, Yokozuna came back with an uppercut to the throat, stopping his momentum. Then Yoko performed a body slam, then he bounced off the ropes and then missed a leg drop when Vega moved out of the way. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, the fans were chanting USA, and I'm just like, the only person that I don't even know. The only person that kind of freaking pertains to here is Yokozuna. Despite him being built from Japan, we all know he's Samoan.
Yeah.
And Savio Vega, he's from Puerto Rico. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually, after some more like slow, clunky action in the ring, Vega and freaking Yoko made their way to the outside when Jim Cornette, Yokozuna's manager, got up on the ring apron. Vega knocked him down to the floor, and the fight persisted onto the outside, where Yoko got the advantage for a little tiny bit until Vega fought back and sent Yoko into the ring post, which led to Vega winning the match by countout.
Yep.
To end this match. This wasn't a very good, exciting match at all. What's your thoughts on it? I mean, Yokozuna had better matches, and I hate to say it, but Vega also had better matches. And speaking of Vega, we'll be seeing him at least 2 more times here. So Vega, with this victory, Savio Vega freaking goddamn advanced that to the semifinal round.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then afterwards, I gotta mention this. They showed Jerry Lawler in the back getting ready for his Kiss My Foot match with Bret Hart. And he pretty much showed his nasty, freaking dirty foot and his nasty ass sock. And he was telling everyone about how Bret Hart's gonna kiss his stinking royal fate. And I guess the smell was so bad that even freaking Jerry Lawler was puking at his own fucking stench. I'm like, dude, what did you do? Did you not shower for like a month before this match? Like, jeez, that or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, you're selling it like death. Right. But anyway, we go to the next match, which was another another qualifier, King of Ring qualifier match featuring the Roadie with Jeff Jarrett, Roadie better known as Road Dogg, against Bob Sparkplug Holly, who would later be known as Hardcore Holly.
So I forgot he fucking had hair.
Yeah, this was Bob Holly with long ass hair. Right.
God damn.
I bet that was a real what the fuck flashback for you.
Yes, because I keep forgetting when he first started, he had hair.
As opposed to that freaking like near bald, blonde freaking cut he had as Hardcore Holly.
Yes.
Yeah, and then this match was actually competitive back and forth, so I got to give the devil his due here on that one. Right?
No, it was a good match. It was. Don't get me wrong. But there was no way to save it.
I know there's no way to say. When it comes to qualifying matches on this card, this was probably the second best. But at least this one had a definitive end compared to the next one we're about to talk about after this one. I mean, it was impressive when freaking Holly Bob Holly went for a dang move where he jumped over Roadie, but Roadie caught him and hit a powerbomb onto him. That looked impressive, so I had to give it some points for that. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I think Roadie freaking applied like the dreaded chin lock, a couple times in this match. So, he wasn't messing around with the rest holds. Yeah, I also went for a figure four at one point during this match. Yeah, and then, but,
that was one move that wasn't a fucking chin lock.
Yes. Yeah, and then Holly freaking fought back and actually got a power slam onto freaking Roadie for a 2 count. Right?
Yeah.
But then near the end of the match, and this is where the ending was kind of like kind of weird and confusing. Holly went up to the top rope, top turnbuckle. Looked like he was going to do a flying nothing on a prone freaking Road Dogg or Roadie down there, whatever you want to call him. But Roadie got the boot up, nailed freaking Holly in the face. And then Roadie just pinned freaking Holly, and the referee counted 3, but after the 3 count was made, Holly kicked out anyway.
Yes.
But nevertheless, freaking Road Dogg or Roadie was declared the winner of this match and advanced to the semifinals with Savio Vega. So, your thoughts on this one?
It was decent.
It was decent for what it was. Was it the best match of the night? No. Is it a match that was better than some of the others I've seen on this show? Maybe. Right?
Yeah.
And then when you look at it from I know this is pro wrestling we were talking about, but if you look at it from a real life perspective, and you see a fight and you're like, see someone get knocked out with a boot to the face, you're like, maybe that will knock someone out when you kick them in the face.
Yes.
Like that hard.
Will a boot to the face actually knock someone out? Yes.
Exactly. And this was early in freaking Brian Armstrong or Road Dogg's career anyway, so he was still learning his way around the business at this point. Right?
Yeah.
Which we all know the kind of Hall of Fame career he would go on to have as a tag team competitor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, after the match, we gotta briefly mention this. We go backstage where Shawn Michaels was being interviewed by Todd Pettengill, and is it just me or did freaking goddamn Shawn Michaels' little outfit he was wearing look like a bunch of battery packs stuck together?
Yeah.
I was getting that impression when I seen his entrance attire. I'm like, huh? Okay. And Shawn Michaels was one of the fan favorites to win this King of the Ring tournament, which I believe they should have done, right?
Yeah.
And Shawn Michaels pretty much said that all he had to do was, he said that no man was big enough to withstand the freaking super kick from the Heartbreak Kid, and he was facing Kama in the next qualifier round. Right.
Well, Papa Shango, who became Kama.
Or, fucking Charles Wright. The Supreme Fighting Voodoo, was like Voodoo Master, Godfather of Censorship. Right? Sorry, I matched all his gimmicks into one.
Was your favorite group. They weren't even in this picture. They weren't even around.
Sorry, I got to match all of his gimmicks into one with that one. Right?
Yes.
And of course, it's kind of interesting because Kama made his entrance with Ted DiBiase as manager at the time. And of course, Kama had the necklace made of the Undertaker's freaking urn that he melted away because this was during his feud with the Undertaker, which would culminate in the '95 SummerSlam event. And I guess there was some fans in the audience who brought like an Undertaker-style wreath with them to the ring, and Kama destroyed that before he even got in the ring. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. But then, Shawn Michaels made his entrance, everything else. The crowd went wild for Michaels. And the freaking, and the match was on. And you gotta keep in mind, there was a 15-minute time limit for each of these qualifier rounds, right? And Shawn Michaels would have a great match with anybody, but this one with Kama was tough. Because as soon as Shawn Michaels would get some offense going, Kama would stop him, do a rest hold like a backbreaker or a chin lock or something to kill time with. And it just got repetitive. I'm like, I understand, you got to do rest holds in wrestling, but this was to tell a story for the babyface to make a comeback, but this was just too much even for me, right?
Yeah.
Including freaking one where freaking Kama had Michaels grounded with a backbreaker submission, holding Shawn Michaels back across his knee for about 2 or 3 minutes long, right? And I'm just sitting there trying not to sleep. I'm just like, do something, right? Of course, Michaels would come back.
Is it bad that my brain was telling me to do something completely different than watch that damn match?
But then you realize your contract says you have to watch this shit. Of course.
So I did both?
Yeah, so Michaels broke free, but then Kama came back, charged Michaels with a springboard forearm, and then Kama took a delayed bump onto the mat.
I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, and then freaking Kama went for an elbow drop, but then Michaels moved and Kama's elbow hit the ring instead. That was a great counter spot. You don't steal Shawn Michaels' moves, apparently. Right?
Well, he was playing possum.
Yeah, but then Michaels was getting back on offense throughout this whole thing.
Where's possum and you trying to play it in 2K?
Yes. And right when we got to 1 minute remaining in this matchup, it was like Michaels did the freaking 10 punches in the corner, turnbuckle, and then Michaels then came back, hit a cross body block on Kama into a rolling pin for a 2 count. And then Michaels performed an inside cradle for another 2 count. And instead of hitting the sweet chin music like the commentators were telling him, sweet chin music, do it, Michaels instead went for a sunset flip pinfall attempt. And the referee went 1, referee went 2, but before he could hit 3, the bell rang.
Well, also, Kama was, Kama, not Karma. God dang, you got me doing it.
Karma. I know, I'm getting tongue twisted too.
Fucking Kama waved his arm like, wow. And then he fucking goes down right when at the fucking 5-second count. It was like, what? And there's already 4. 3, 2, 1, and then the freaking they bring the bell right when they hit 1, and the ref called it off.
Yeah, and then the match was ruled as a time limit draw, so neither man advanced in the King of the Ring tournament here. And you could look at and then right after that was made, even Shawn Michaels freaking goddamn worded out bullshit. All right.
Yeah.
Probably out of frustration because he knew, well, this is going to be a crap show at this point. All right.
Most likely.
But anyway, despite the non-finish, your thoughts on this Kama Michaels match?
Was it their best match? No.
Obviously I seen Shawn Michaels compete in way better matches than this.
Did they have better matches? By far. Was it better than this fucking pay-per-view? Hell yes.
Was it the best match on this pay-per-view? I guess you could say so. Compared to the other crap most of the crap on this card. All right?
Yes.
It's like this in the main event, I think, are tied with a score, but that doesn't really mean much. Right?
Yeah.
The only thing that hurt it for me was obviously the friggin' time limit draw, the no winner going in, and obviously this should have been Shawn Michaels' King of the Ring tournament to win, but nah. No, certain owner of this company at this point didn't see things that way. Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought it was all right, but then after the match, freaking Kama tried to attack Michaels, but Michaels fought off and nailed a sweet chin music super kick. I guess send the fan homes happy with seeing Michaels out there. Something he should have done in the first place when the match was happening.
Yeah.
But whatever, who cares? Right?
Literally yelling, super kick, super kick, super kick, super kick, finish it, super kick, super kick. I was even saying, just finish the match.
And you were yelling at it, and even
Hit it with the music. Let this torture end.
But yeah, this event was 30 years ago, so obviously I couldn't hear you. Right? But
exactly.
Then after the match, we get briefly shown a fucking video package of Bob Backlund campaigning for president. Can you imagine crazy Bob Backlund as president? Not to get too political here, but can you imagine crazy Bob Backlund as the president? Oh, God. I don't think I want to imagine that. Yep. Yeah, and then they ended that whole segment with Backlund saying that the Philly cheesesteak needs a carrot in it. Like, what the fuck?
You need your vitamin E and your beta carotene.
And I'm just like, what the hell, man? Right? God.
First of all, I thought he was going to say it needs to have a chicken wing.
Oh, God. And with torture really started. You'd think the last 3 were torturous? No, this. The next match we're about to talk about was torturous.
Yes, fucking Mabel and The Undertaker.
In their quarterfinal match, with the winner automatically going to the finals. All right. Hi.
Yeah.
And of course, Mabel made his entrance. He was freaking announced at 568 pounds. He was a great big man. And of course, The Undertaker came out. He was here. There was a couple of Undertaker fans in the audience, too, looking all gothic and undead. And I bet, John, I bet when you see them, you're like, those are my people.
Yes. Yes, I did. May my people unite.
Yeah. This match was very slow and sluggish.
It wasn't just slow or sluggish. This was ultra slow.
I mean, Mabel
was just really, fucking chin hold, throw against the rope, body pressure, throw
Bear
against
hug.
the rope, a turnbuckle, bear hug, and let's not forget leg drop. That freaking causes Undertaker to have an injury at this event.
It's like leg drop, fucking goddamn splash in the corner, freaking rest hold after rest hold. I swear to God, this match was only about 10 minutes long in length, and I swear to God, it felt like an eternity. Right?
Yes.
And of course, Mabel's not that very flexible either. I mean, no offense to the late freaking Nelson Fraser Jr., who played the Mabel character, obviously, better known as Viscera. But he wasn't very agile for a big man. He was more of a dominant attraction that he was supposed to be. He wasn't made for long matches. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's not a knock on him. Most people make a career out of that. Right?
Yeah.
As opposed to Undertaker, who's also a big, lengthy, tall guy, but he was able to put on these lengthy matches. Mostly because he was about 320 pounds. Very agile for a big guy. Right?
Yeah.
And that's why he had a 30 plus year career in the wrestling business. Right? But
at this point, he had to freaking, after this match, he literally had to go to the freaking hospital because he got, when the fucking leg drop, he got hit in the fucking face.
Yeah. And of course, near the end of the match, near the end of the match, Mabel countered an Irish whip attempt from Taker and sent freaking Taker sailing across ropes and bumping into the referee, knocking him down. And I'm like, oh, referee freaking down at the crucial point of match cliche, am I right? That always seems to happen, even in 1995, so don't give me that crap like, oh, they just started it. No. It's always been a thing. Right?
Yeah, this is when Karma came out.
Yeah, but before Karma came out, I would like to say that Taker did run the ropes and nailed a leaping clothesline on the Mabel. And the Undertaker somehow was able to nail a choke slam on the Mabel, knocking him down. Knocking him out, but for at least that 3 count, but because the referee was out, that's when Kama came out and friggin' nailed the Undertaker. And nailed the Undertaker, but put him and nailed him down long enough so Mabel can actually get a 3 count in advance to the freaking finals when the referee woke up. And yeah, I mean, I know the Undertaker was pinned here, but he wasn't pinned clean. He was actually protected with interference and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this was actually, I believe at the time, this was the first time the Undertaker's actually been pinned since 91, which nobody really made a big deal about at the time.
Yeah.
The last person to pin him 1, 2, 3 in the ring was Hulk Hogan before this event. But I'm like, if Vince McMahon's really pushing Mabel to become the freaking king of the ring by having him pin the Undertaker of all people, which was a rarity to see back then. Right?
Well, Undertaker, like I said, got hurt at this event, which later he had to come out with that Phantom of the Opera mask.
So I'm just like, okay. This match, I'm going to be front and honest with you, this match was shit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This match was crap, in my opinion. What about your thoughts on it?
It had some redeeming, but not a whole bunch.
I mean, seeing Mabel get chokeslammed, that was kind of impressive.
Seeing Undertaker or someone like the Undertaker chokeslamming fucking Mabel, which had never been done.
So we got to give Taker some credit on this crap fest of a match.
Yes.
So I'm just, but and that's when and I bet it was at this time the realization hit for some of the fans in attendance and watching, saying, wait a minute. They had Shawn Michaels and Kama fight to a draw, and they just had the Undertaker pinned. Well, there goes the 2 potential fan favorites of this freaking tournament, all gone.
Yep.
And Mabel got a freaking goddamn bye win all the way straight to the finals because of that draw between Michaels and Kama. Right?
Yep.
So that just means Mabel faced the winner of the goddamn Savio Vega Rody match in the finals instead. Right?
Yep.
Oh, and I know we like to make the argument, did they have better matches? Well, that should go without saying. The Undertaker had way, way better matches by a long mile than this.
Yes.
Ugh. And hell, Mabel had some more better matches than this. Well, I don't know if better would be the right word, but more memorable ones than this. All right?
Yeah, and then he changed his name to Viscera.
Yep.
Literally shortly after this.
Yeah, but then after that match was done and over with, they showed a video package honoring the Hall of Fame class of 1995. It's kind of weird talking about Hall of Fame and not associating it with WrestleMania, but it was kind of interesting to see how they did with the Hall of Fame back then. Right?
Yeah.
With the 1995 inductees were Ernie Ladd, Pedro Morales, the Grand Wizard, Antonio Rocca, the Fabulous Moolah, George the Animal Steel, and Ivan Putski.
The Polish Ivan Putski. Polish power.
Yep. Sheesh. Yeah, and then we go to our next contest on this crap show, whatever you want to call it. Oh yeah, and before I even get to that, freaking it was during the Hall of Fame little speech ceremony that they announced. Oh, in Philadelphia, this is known as World Wrestling Federation weekend. I bet they regret that, don't they? Knowing how crap this event was. Right?
Well, they literally said it was that that the foundation made a fucking decree saying, oh, it's Federation weekend. Like, why? Just why?
Thank God the town of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania would have a way better show 29 years later. And yes, I'm talking about WrestleMania 40 here when I say that. Right?
Yes. Well, they had better ones. The Night of Champions had
WrestleMania 15.
A whole bunch of different ones
from Philadelphia. Not to mention the ECW shows. They had WrestleMania 15 in that city, WrestleMania 40 in that city. I mean, they had a bunch of good events for this one in that city, but this one is not one of them. Obviously.
This was a dark day in their history
that no one wants to talk about, even though we're talking about it.
Because you wanted to fucking regulate.
But anyway, the next match on this card was the King of the Ring, the only King of the Ring semifinal match featuring Savio Vega for a third time taking on freaking the Roadie or the Road Dog, whatever you want to call him.
Well, they called him Road Dog the Roadie.
Roadie or Road Dog or Jesse James, even though he wasn't going by the Jesse James name yet. We all know who he was, right? And, you know, this match was passable because they both went at it back and forth, too. Showing that they had some fight in them, unlike the previous matches we talked about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then freaking started with Vega going for an armbar that turned to a pin attempt, but that got a 2 count. And of course, Roadie, the Road Dog, hit a neck breaker for another 2 count. This was a short matchup here. And of course, the fans were distracted. I think they were just doing an ECW chant at this point because they were tired of the shit show they were being presented. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Road Dog took too long to do an attack from the middle rope, so he missed a diving attack. Vega got out of the way. And then later on, freaking Jared grabbed Vega's foot after an Irish whip to the rope, going interference here. Interference spot here near the end. So Rhodey punched Vega, but Vega freaking came back with hitting a knee to Rhodey's back to knock Jared off the apron. And then Vega in the match hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up to win.
Yes.
The dreaded surprise roll-up that gets pretty much 99.9% of people that get caught in it to go to the finals to face Mabel, of all people. So, your thoughts on this?
Just.
So, your 1995 final match here was Savio Vega wrestling for the fourth time in the night, taking on Mabel. What could go wrong?
The wrong person won.
Well, they weren't going to do heel versus heel with Mabel and Rhodey. But still, I get what you're
saying. For Mabel and Rhodey.
I believe freaking the final should have had at least Undertaker or Shawn Michaels in it. That would have been better and more well received.
Well, having Savio Vega in the final, yeah, that's a good match. That's good. He can fight with anyone.
Yeah.
But putting him up against Mabel and having Mabel win.
Spoiler alert, but whatever. We'll get to that match when we get to that. But still, it's like, what the fuck, right? Yes. I know they were kind of trying to build this whole Rocky Balboa storyline with Savio Vega. They even referenced that through this whole show, so yeah. To me, this match was okay-ish. It wasn't the best match. But speaking of matches that were not very good, we go on to the Kiss My Foot match between Jerry Lawler and Bret Hart next.
Oh, God.
And before the match, freaking Bret Hart cut a promo basically saying he's not too thrilled with the idea of Jerry Lawler kissing his foot, but Bret said he was going to rip Lawler apart. And, well, Jerry Lawler...
He wasn't very appreciative of having a feud with Jerry the King Lawler for the third time either.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Jerry Lawler cut a promo making his entrance, pretty much tearing down Bret Hart, saying he's going to make him kiss his foot. Also, and pretty much just ripping into the crowd, the Jerry Lawler heel tactics coming into play on the mic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention this earlier at the start, but during the entrances, like the entranceway, friggin' two doors had to be freaking propped open to let the freaking competitors out into the ring area. The rampway, whatever. And the two people that were opening doors were a young man, Jeff Hardy, by the way. I'm pretty sure you noticed that too, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's how they got their start. Was they were the door people.
Yeah. For this event, and then they became jobbers, and then eventually, well, the rest is history because we all know what they ended up doing with their career.
They were never jobbers. They were just fucking. They started out sucking, and then they went to Michael Hayes. Yeah. He built them up. Then it was Terry Reynolds. She did whatever.
Then they got their best manager in Lita, and then, well, we know how that ended. But anyway.
And then Matt went nuts.
Yeah, then, well, we don't need to talk about the review last week. We don't need to go that far.
And then it just accumulates them, everyone wanting them to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep, and then Well, after Jerry Lawler's speech, Bret Hart came out, standing ovation like usual, because everyone was going nuts for Bret Hart at this point, which, let's face it, Bret Hart in 95 could have a great match with almost anybody, but I hate to say it, this match with Jerry Lawler did not fit that billing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole time, Lawler was in control. Lawler was in control for most of this match from what I saw of it. To tell you the truth, I really wasn't paying attention. Bret Hart was on the offense too for a bit, knocking Jerry Lawler down with punches and trying to freaking like work on Jerry Lawler's like legs and body parts, whatever, but Lawler fought back and nailed like freaking 3 pile drivers on him. Didn't even go for the pin, right? Instead,
he went for the pin on all 3. It's just that he kicked out on all 3.
Well, Bret Hart kicked out after 3 pile drivers. That's when Jerry Lawler was like, okay, he's got Bret up in the corner at some point, decides to take his boot off and try to stick that nasty sock. And everyone was acting as if freaking Jerry Lawler had a knife. Like, oh my God, he's going to touch him, he's going to get it with it. Right?
Well, also, Michael Hay or Dom, whatever the fuck the dude's name was, that was on the
Doug
announcing.
Hendricks. Yeah.
Yeah, Doc Hendricks is like, the smell, get it back, you send it back, get it back.
The smell's out, I'm going to leave. Right? But yeah, freaking,
Yeah, also at that point in the match, they had to have the crew spraying a lot of air freshener over it because the smell of his foot and his boot and the sock that he was wearing, yeah, it accumulated into people throwing up.
Yep. Yeah, but then Bret Hart blocked the fucking like foot attempt, nasty foot to the face attempt, then tripped and freaking, it was like tripped up Lawler and then gave him a headbutt to the stomach. But Lawler freaking got back in offense when he jabbed the boot into Bret Hart's face. And of course, then Lawler put his boot back on, then took it off a couple times in this matchup. But then they went off to the outside near the end of the match where Bret drove Lawler face first in the ring post. Yeah, and then Haikushi and Sinja, I think was the name of his manager. I could be wrong. I don't really care to do research on it. Right? Came out and Haikushi went for a freaking dive off the top rope while the referee was distracted to do damage to Bret, but Bret got out of the way and Lawler got nailed. Right?
Well,
by accident.
The thing is, Haikushi, he fucking went and did the palm thrust with Jerry the King Lawler holding him back, and he hit Jerry the King Lawler with it.
Yep, and following that mistake, Bret Hart got Lawler back in the ring after Haikushi decided, screw this, I'm going to the back, right? Nailed Lawler with a Russian leg sweep and the backbreaker, followed by a diving elbow smash from the middle rope. You know, Bret Hart's signature moves. And then freaking Bret Hart decided, I'm going to put an end to this crap fest. And he locked Jerry Lawler into the sharpshooter, which probably forced Lawler to quit or submit, whatever you want to call it. Right?
Well, he was trying to fight out of it, and then he's like, nope, tap.
So yeah, Bret Hart won the Kiss My Foot match.
Which almost got reversed because he wouldn't let go of the hold until the count of 4.
Yep. But yeah, eventually Bret did let go of the hold. Submission hold, and then Bret then took his freaking right boot off when he was sitting up in the corner, but Haikushi came back and then tried to attack Bret again, but Bret avoided him, and Haikushi accidentally nailed freaking Lawler with a shoulder tackle. Again, knocking him down again. I'm like, guys, you gotta have better freaking coordinates. What is this, Scooby-Doo, where the villain's plans always backfire? All right?
Yes, and then freaking Bret Hart is like, fuck it, and put his foot in his mouth.
So yeah, Bret Hart put freaking his foot in Jerry Lawler's mouth. And then Bret Hart, not even satisfied.
Then he freaking sends Jerry the King Lawler up on in the freaking middle of the ring and puts his own foot in his mouth.
Yeah, that nasty, stinky fucking hasn't been washed in a month. Jerry Lawler's foot in his own dang mouth.
So you could say that Jerry the King Lawler put his foot in his mouth.
Yes. Well, doesn't he always do that?
I mean, literally put his foot in his mouth.
Well, this time literally. Well, the other times hypothetically. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then freaking Jerry Lawler sold it like death afterwards. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that a little later. So, yeah, what did you think about this match?
It was decent enough.
Yeah, it was a little comedy match on a crap show, but Jerry Lawler had way better matches, specifically in Memphis, his home base territory. And obviously, Bret Hart had better matches. We don't need to explain how great Bret Hart was. Right?
No.
Then after the match, they showed a video of WWE supporting the Special Olympics, including showing the one Special Olympic athlete who sang America the Beautiful from WrestleMania 11. So there you go. And then after they showed that video package, we go to the fucking match that we dreaded the most seeing. Right. And it was the King of the Ring finals between Mabel and Savio Vega with Razor Ramon in his corner. This is the fourth time we've seen Savio Vega here. King of the Ring 95 should just be renamed to the Savio Vega Show. Because that's all we've seen throughout this whole show. In 4 matches. Right? Now let's talk about this. Fuck me. There should be, if there's only one move that freaking describes this freaking dang match, it's bear hug. That's what we see. That was most of Mabel's offense through this whole dang match.
Yeah, it was just fucking Mabel doing a bear hug.
Yeah, it was a bear hug, but then Vega did fight back. Trying to freaking, and the crowd was pretty much dead for this one. They didn't care. Right? Mostly because what was that?
I said they were tired of the shit.
Yeah, they were tired of the shit. Yeah, that bear hug lasted about 2 or 3 minutes. Vega was trying to feed off this crowd who didn't really give a shit because, like you said, they were tired of the shit.
Yes.
Yeah, and then a little later on when Mabel was in control, splashing freaking Vega against the turnbuckle and this was after Mabel freaking performed that chin lock on the freaking Vega, and I'm just like, okay, I like a chin lock as much as the next guy does, but I don't need to freaking see it several times throughout one show. That was getting overkill at this point. Right?
Yes.
The chin lock. The only freaking person who the chin lock does not affect whatsoever is James Ellsworth.
Because he has no chin.
Exactly. And of course, the fans were chanting ECW as well, once again, and Vince McMahon thought they were actually cheering for Savio Vega, totally ignoring what the crowd was really saying, obviously.
Yeah.
And of course, near the end of the matchup, Mabel actually missed a corner splash, which prompted Savio Vega to try to freaking nail the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment on Mabel, the surprise roll-up, but he only got a 2 count. And I'm like, well, Mabel ain't going to fall for that. What?
I said I was surprised he even got the roll-up.
Yeah, on the big man. And then Vega then nailed a spinning kick to the face of Mabel for a 2 count. Yeah, but then freaking Vega ran the ropes, possibly do a spinning heel kick on Mabel, but Mabel caught him. Mabel caught him in his arms and performed the freaking falling power slam. And then And then Mabel then bounced off the ropes and then nailed a running splash on the Vega for the pinfall win. When Vega couldn't kick out anymore after that. So the winner and the King of the Ring 1995 was Mabel.
The wrong person.
Your thoughts on this contest before I talk about the freaking what happened after the match?
Person won.
It was shit. It was garbage. It was fucking slow, and I really hated it. I'll be blunt with you. I hated this match. I'll say that right now. Out of all the King of the Ring final matches I've seen, where the competitors wrestled multiple times in the same match, the same night, this one was garbage. In my opinion. Right? Yeah, and of course, after the match, Razor Ramon freaking came in there, tried to attack freaking Mabel and Mo. Well, he attacked Mo and then he tried to attack Mabel, but Mabel freaking nailed Razor in those injured ribs and then nailed a body slam on Razor Ramon. And then the 1-2-3 Kid freaking came out, better known as X-Pac, tried to save Razor and freaking Savio, but he was also punked out by Mo and Mabel as well. And then Mabel freaking went for the big splash on 1-2-3 Kid or X-Pac, but the freaking referee stopped him from that happening.
Yeah.
But can you imagine Mabel jumping off the top rope on a splash? That would have been more entertaining than what happened in that freaking final match that he just had. Right?
Yes. At least we'd see Pancake.
Yeah, and then after all that was done, freaking they showed Mabel sitting on the throne while freaking Mo put on the cape on Mabel, and then Mabel was given the freaking sword. Right? And then Mo read off the scroll here, and the fans hated it. They were throwing their garbage all over. Props to the one guy who freaking nailed freaking Mabel in the head with, I believe, was a freaking cup or a piece of garbage.
Water bottle.
Or water bottle square in the forehead. While Mabel was just sitting there just taking all the abuse.
Here for that.
I don't condone throwing trash at the wrestlers, but we got to acknowledge that one was spot on. Right?
Is it bad that I cheered for that?
Yes. But anyway, the whole scroll reading ended with Mo repeatedly saying, "Long live King Mabel." No, King Mabel needs to be in the dumpster. and then the King music, King of the Ring theme music started playing, and Mo put the crown on Mabel's head, but then Razor, Savio, and the Kid turned back up to try to go after Mabel, but the referees held them back. And that's how this whole fucking King of the Ring coronation fucking speech ended.
Yes.
Out of all the King of the Ring winners, I'm sorry, Mabel goes down in history as the absolute worst King of the Ring in WWE history, and there's a reason for it. He was shit.
Yes, but he also liked to hurt people.
At least when he came back as Viscera, at least he got better and not doing that. Right?
Yeah.
But we couldn't say the same in 95 with his Mabel run when he was inexperienced. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And where would this lead King Mabel to? Well, it would lead to King Mabel going on to challenge Diesel for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 95. I think, and it was the first time Vince McMahon tested out the King of the Ring winner getting a title match at SummerSlam, which is what we see today with the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring winners.
Yes.
So I guess if there's one thing to take away from this King of the Ring, it's that. But that's not saying much. Right? So yeah, after that was all done, they showed Jerry Lawler in the freaking bathroom or restroom, freaking goddamn brushing his teeth, rinsing his mouth out with Listerine and puking. And he was telling the freaking camera, get out. No, screw that. No, get out of here. Right?
Yeah.
You know, selling his own foot in his mouth. And there's a reason why all this happened, why they showed that. Because this storyline with Jerry Lawler and Bret Hart would take another turn, as this segment right here would ultimately lead to the debut of Isaac Yankem DDS. If you don't know who that is, Isaac Yankem was the future Kane.
Well, he was also the Unabomber.
Yes.
A Christmas creature from WCW.
Yep. And in WWE, he was known as Isaac Yankem, Fake Diesel, and of course his most successful gimmick, Kane, The Undertaker's half-brother.
Yes.
So I guess...
And now, the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee.
So I guess when it comes to this Jerry Lawler Bret Hart feud, I guess the positive takeaway is that it showed Glenn Jacobs' debut in the WWE for the first time as the Isaac Yankem character. So yeah, and then before the main event, we go to the back where we see Psycho Sid, Tatanka, and Ted DiBiase all getting an interview done before the tag team main event here. Pretty much what the heels in the back were saying was that was Sid taking great pleasure in freaking goddamn Diesel's elbow getting messed up badly during their last encounter at the First In Your House pay-per-view. And pretty much...
Sam saying, oh, I heard the crunch, crunch, crunch of your soul.
Yeah, and then freaking Tatanka said he was there for the money while Bam Bam was fired from the $1 Million Corporation, basically. And DiBiase said that the champagne is on ice and their opponents will be on ice as well. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then and then afterwards they did an interview afterwards we were shown to a different locker room where we saw W Champion Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow getting interviewed. And Diesel said he's not 100%, but he's ready to go out and call Tatanka Pocahontas at one point during this promo. Which I found...
he's like, oh, if Sid wants to do and if Pocahontas was making fun of Tatanka.
And I'm just like, heh. And me being Native American, I'm like, heh, that's funny. Right? I'm not going to get offended by that at all.
Neither am I.
And then Bigelow talked about how they have the confidence and that Diesel's going to show him why he's the WWE champion, and Bam Bam's going to show him why he's the Beast of the East in this tag team encounter, right?
Yep. So
yeah, Sid and Tatanka made their entrances first with Sid's theme, right? And I'm just like, so used to hearing Sid get the big pop, but this was before that, right? And obviously he was a heel. They were the heel team, right? And then Bam Bam then came out, got a bunch of cheers there after freshly turning face. And of course, Diesel came out as WWE champion to a mixed reaction. Not a whole lot of people. I didn't really hear a whole lot of cheers, but I didn't really hear a whole lot of boos either. It was just
it was more a lot of people worrying about his health than anything.
Yeah, and to me, the crowd reaction was just kind of meh, right, for Diesel's entrance, but not that I had many time to focus, because before Diesel could even get in the ring, freaking the fight was on between the four, for the four men, right?
Yes.
And of course, Diesel at the start made it clear that he wanted freaking Sid in the match, but no, he got freaking Tatanka instead at the start, right? And of course, the heels Sid and Tatanka got the advantage in the early going when when Diesel made the mistake by going towards Sid's corner and Sid nailed him in the elbow, and then freaking smashed it, and then freaking got the advantage by targeting that elbow. Can't fucking talk for shit. You see what this event does to me? But then again, you could say, you can insult me saying, hey, doesn't every event do that to you? You can't talk for shit.
Exactly.
I was only saying that. I was only saying that before you could, but either way, freaking Sid targeted Diesel's elbow, including smashing it into the turnbuckle while the referee wasn't looking. Typical heel fashion there. And of course, Diesel tagged out. Later on, freaking Bam Bam Bigelow got the hot tag, was trying to clear house on everybody, but eventually he was taken out. He was taken out after freaking, he nailed Tatanka out of the ring. Bigelow then nailed the DDT on the Sid. Bigelow was clearing house. But the referee was distracted by DiBiase, so Sid took control with punches. And Bigelow was freaking being dominated for the most part by the heels throughout this whole matchup. Cutting off the ring, it's typical, heel tag team stuff that we always see, right?
Yep.
And of course, the crowd really wasn't into it at this freaking point. They were quiet for most of it. If the crowd was like this in the current day, there'd be a big ass boring chant or, hey, this match sucks chant. Right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, and we seen another chin lock. This time when Sid applied it to Bigelow as well. I'm just like, how many chin locks did we see in this?
Chin locks.
Not thought to myself, how many chin locks did we see on this pay-per-view as a whole? Probably 50-11.
1,792 goddamn any time.
Probably fucking goddamn 50-11 at this point. Right?
Yes.
But then later on, but then later on, when Tatanka was a legal man, they were still, taking Bam Bam Bigelow out. I mean, Bigelow got the tag. Diesel was cleaning house, but then Diesel's arm got targeted, so he tagged out right away, and then Tatanka freaking was wearing down Bigelow once again. Oh, and we seen the millionth chin lock applied on this show when Tatanka nailed one onto Bigelow instead.
Yes.
At this point, Bam Bam Bigelow's jaw was completely falling off because he had nothing left. He had to be renamed to Bam Bam Ellsworth at this fucking point. I'm only saying this to entertain me because this match was pretty shit. All right?
Yeah, his chin was literally degrading with time. You could literally see it.
Yeah, and then freaking, and then Tatanka would freaking,
Also say that James Ellsworth was Bam Bam Bigelow's chin because he has no chin, so that's because he was Bam Bam's chin.
Yeah, and then later on, freaking Tatanka hit a jumping DDT. Yep. And then later on, about middle to end of the match, Tatanka did hit a jumping DDT for a 2 count on Bigelow. And then Bigelow started doing his no-selling routine that he was known for doing onto Tatanka, which led to both Bigelow and Tatanka nailing each other with a clothesline at the same time. Right? But the first man to gain control was Tatanka. Oh, and what did he do to Bam Bam Bigelow? Say it with me, a chin lock! Again! For the 50 millionth time on this show. I'm like, I like a good chin lock, but Jesus fuck, keep it to a minimum. You know what's funny? We've seen so many chin locks, but yet Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, wasn't even on this show.
Exactly!
Which makes it even more disappointing. It was a chin lock fest throughout this whole show, and the British Bulldog wasn't even booked. And somewhere in the back, the British Bulldog was watching each match and was like, I am so jealous. It's a chinlock party, and I'm not even invited. Fuck you guys.
Exactly.
But Bigelow broke free. I don't even know how he broke free. I mean, his jaw was pretty much dust at this point, right? And of course, Diesel got the hot tag, went up against Tatanka. Freaking Diesel nailed a running forearms and a sidewalk slam. And he missed a clothesline, but he came back with a running boot to Tatanka's face. And Diesel nailed a jackknife on Tatanka, but the jackknife powerbomb looked botched here, did it not?
Well, he couldn't really utilize his arm, so it was kind of a jacked up jackknife.
Yeah, and then Diesel covered Tatanka. And Devil? Who the fuck is Devil? It's Evil Diesel. There you go. God, I can't talk for shit right now. My mind is fried from this show. Give me a break here. Right? But then Diesel went to cover Tatanka, only got a 2 count because Diesel picked him up, was eyeballing Sid saying, I want you. But instead of tagging out, Sid did the smartest thing that anyone on this show could possibly do, because Sid was like, well, this show's already in the fucking dumpster. I don't want any part of it. I'm out of here. All right? So Sid just walked away like, fuck this bullshit. I'm out. Right?
Exactly.
So Diesel responded by just dropping in an elbow drop on Tatanka for a 3 count. Seriously, ended it with an elbow drop. And the winners of the match were Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow. Your thoughts on this one?
It was a decent match. Did they have better matches? Yes.
Kevin Nash especially had better matches, and so did Sid. And Bigelow and ECW had better matches.
Well, Bam Bam still had better matches when he was still with the Federation as well. Tatanka? Yes. Does he still wrestle to today? Yes.
That's surprising. I thought he was retired. I thought Tatanka was retired by now. I know Kevin Nash is.
No, they keep bringing Tatanka back for special occasions. Royal Rumble, and a few others.
Yeah. And I know Kevin Nash. And I know Kevin Nash.
Even Tatanka's son is going to be wrestling.
Yeah, and I know Kevin Nash, for the most part, is retired due to all of his injuries. And, well, when it comes to Bam Bam and Psycho Sid, nowadays they're unfortunately no longer with us.
Well, Kevin Nash essentially works backstage now.
Yeah.
As a coordinator and works with the talent.
Yes.
So, essentially, yes, he's retired from in-ring competition.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be really fun to do. We go to our favorite part of the review, which is our rating system and our final grade.
Fuck you.
Savio Vega defeating IRS in that King of the Ring qualifier match. I know I really shouldn't put a rating here because it's a dark match, but it's a dark match we actually was able to see. Either way, though, I gave it only 1.5 stars out of 5.
3.
Why do you rate that one 3?
Because it was a decent match. There's no chin hole.
Yes, and then we started the show proper off, like I mentioned earlier. So Savio Vega defeating Yokozuna by countout in the King of the Ring quarterfinal match. 0.5 out of 5, only half out of 5.
Yeah, half a star.
Yeah, you only gave it half a star. Yeah, I pretty much gave it half a star out of 5. You the same?
Yes.
Okay. The Roadie defeating Bob Holly in the King of the Ring qualifier match. I gave that one 1 3/4 out of 5.
I'd give it a 2.
So about near the same as what I gave it. Kama and Shawn Michaels fighting to a 15-minute time limit draw in that quarterfinal match. I gave it 3 out of 5.
4.
I guess you got to work with what you're given with, even if it's a shit finish. Right?
Yes.
Mabel defeating The Undertaker in that King of the Ring qualifier match. Only a quarter star out of 5.
2.5.
And I only gave it a quarter because of that choke slam that Taker delivered on Mabel. That's it. I didn't care for it.
2.5 because Undertaker at least put up a fucking fight.
Yeah. Savio Vega defeating the Roadie in that King of the Ring semifinal match. 2 out of 5.
3.
It was a good scrap. I'll give it that. Bret Hart defeating Jerry Lawler in that Kiss My Foot match. 1 out of 5.
5.
I gave it 1 out of 5, and that's being nice. Why are you giving it a full 5?
Just kidding.
Gee, what's your real score then?
2.
Okay, that's better.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Imagine if you're like, okay, 5 out of 5. Just kidding. My real score is 4 3/4. I'd be like, what the fuck? Right?
Dude, just your fucking reaction to when I said, oh, 5. You're like, what the fuck? No.
That was shit.
Get a fucking explanation.
Exactly. Mabel defeating Savio Vega to become the 1995 King of the Ring winner. 0 out of 5.
0.
Exactly. You and I agree on that. That was crap.
Yes.
And in the main event, Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow defeating Tatanka and Psycho Sid. That was average, so I gave it 3 out of 5.
4.
That, you're praising it way more than it should with that. And my personal final grade for the 1995 King of the Ring is an F. Fuck this show. I never want to watch it again.
I'd give it an S, as in shit.
S, shit, F, failure, whatever. It's the same thing. This show belongs in the fucking dumpster.
Yeah, I would give it a better grade, but no, this was dumpster fire. This was garbage. This is beyond
This
anything.
show made me ashamed to even be a wrestling fan to begin with, okay?
Oh no, what will make you ashamed will be maybe the week after this, because I ain't gonna fucking do the one I want to do yet.
This show sucks. This show sucks. Usually I would say, hey, which match would I recommend? The match I would recommend from the 1995 King of the Ring is none of them. None of them. Don't even waste your time watching this. You would feel like you would literally lose brain cells watching this.
Yes.
Am I right? Fuck, you even messaged me earlier saying, dude, is it possible to lose brain cells just from watching a pay-per-view?
Yes.
I think it's true, man. This show does not come recommended. Do not waste your time. You would find more entertainment by going outside and cutting grass than watching this shit show. Am I right?
Yes.
I mean, hell, you would find more entertainment by asking a freaking potential partner out on a date and they say no compared to this.
Yes.
And that's pretty bad. So yeah, in other words, the show is shit. Do not watch it. Anyway, now that we're done ranting about how terrible this freaking show is. Oh, God, I hate to say this, but King of the Ring 95 was my pick, and I fully 100% regret this. But hey, at least after this is up, we don't have to worry about watching this crapfest show ever again.
Yes, and since Night of Champions is next week.
Oh, God, what is your next show? I hate to ask. Because next week's your pick.
We are going with a classic. Night of Champions.
Okay, what year?
2015.
Wait a minute.
2015.
Oh, you motherfucking piece of garbage. Why are you making me watch that? You do realize that's the match, the main event for 2015 Night of Champions was Sting and Seth Rollins, right?
Yes.
Where Sting broke his neck and had to retire temporarily, right?
Yes.
Tell you what, though, that match is still more entertaining than any crap fest we've seen on this fucking show that we just seen. At least you're sparing me right now. Anyway, my brain hurts. I need to freaking go relax. Fuck me. Anyway, next week we'll be reviewing Night of Champions 2015. So until then, we will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.